that, we're going to start the elections. This is kind of the order we're going to go in. There's a couple like procedural things we have to go over. First off, if you're running for a position, you have to be nominated by somebody. So like, say Kyle wants to run again for treasurer, Amanda will have to say, I nominate Kyle Hyden for treasurer. Okay, so that's just kind of the format we're going to use here. Pretty much when you come up here, you're just going to stand in the front of the room. You're going to give a little spiel about what you'll do to make the board successful, how you're going to work with the position, and then there might be some questions from previous board members or from students or faculty. So we can get it started. We have a projector here. Okay, so first we're going to start off the nominations for co-chair. So if anybody has anybody to nominate, please do so now. Kyle?
I'd like to nominate Chris.
Okay, Chris, do you accept?
Yep.
Okay. I'd like to nominate Amanda Savage. Do you accept? Okay. Anybody else?
Nominate Adam O'Brien.
Okay, do you accept?
Yes.
Alright.
I nominate Shannon Younger.
Okay, Shannon, do you accept?
Yes.
Okay. Anybody else? No?
I nominate John Michael Cardinal.
Okay, do you accept?
I'm nominating Renee Dubuque.
Do you accept?
Yes.
Alright, is there anybody else? Okay, so I'm motion to close the nominations. Second. Alright.
Sorry, John, your name's
too long. Okay, so why don't we just start with Amanda? Just go down the line and give a little talk about what you'll do to help the board, how you'll improve it, what kind of ideas you have since you will be in charge of the board.
Okay, after being on the board for a year and watching Shane and Luke fall into their role as co-chair, I got to see what they acted as a liaison between faculty and all of us here, and they governed SMA and organized events, and that's something I would really like to do. I like staying involved and being a leader and overseeing everyone to achieve a common goal. As far as ideas, I think right now our major is kind of segregated and we all need to come together. And I think by doing that, I think we need to kind of give everyone a sense of empowerment. I feel like some people are intimidated or maybe feel that their opinion doesn't matter, but it does. I know coming into the major of my sophomore year, I felt like my voice wasn't really important. So I think it's important that we get everyone involved.
Alright, I'm Chris. I've been on the board now since I was a freshman, actually, the very end of my freshman year. I've seen a couple different boards come and go. A lot of people come and go. I know these guys have been involved for a while. Like she said, when I was a freshman and we had a really good, close-knit, tight group of students because our major isn't that big. So the one thing I would really like to bring back is that close-knit group. And like I said, I had experience. I know how to run the meetings and stuff. I've seen Shane do it for a while now, and I'm really looking forward to hopefully being your co-chair.
I'm Adam O'Brien. I haven't been on the board yet, but I feel like co-chair would be a great way to start. I'd have to agree, the major, there's a lot of cliques and groups, and I think that we all need to kind of get together, especially with the faculty having greater communication. As far as ideas, I know the SMP nights haven't been going very well, but I think that's a great way for all of us to kind of get involved together and actually get to know the differences between freshman and senior, and I think it'd be a great way to start.
I'm Shannon. This is my first time running for a position on the board. As a person, I am very organized, responsible. I've been involved with many different events, activities that I've had to take charge of, so I know what it takes to relate to people, kind of work with them, work with a bunch of different people, which we have in our major. I'd like to bring more of a female aspect to the, as a co-chair, represent the female in our major a little bit more. And I know last year we were very, the game nights, I felt was very connected, and this year it's kind of been not as attended, so I'd like to try and help that as well.
I'm Renee Dubuque, not to be super repetitive, but getting the groups together would be a great idea. I've had several leadership positions in the past, and I'm not one to get stepped on, so my voice would be heard. I really don't want to be that repetitive, but getting the groups together, making the SMP nights the most that they can be, making sure that sport management really is a tight-knit group.
I'm John Michael Cardamone. Like they said, I've never been on the board either. Also, not being repetitive. I mean, I know a couple of people. I've become really close friends with a lot of the guys and girls within the men and females in the major. I know. I heard it right as I came out of my mouth. I know. I was looking right at you too. Anyways, I'd like to get a close-knit group with a bunch of other people in the major. I mean, I know, like they all said, no one pretty much knows a lot of people. I don't know a lot of you looking out right now. The SMP game night, stuff like that, I would like to bring those closer together, you know, make sure we get to know pretty much everyone and make this a pretty powerful major, well, even more powerful major than it is already on campus.
Okay, thank you. Now we'll take any questions. I mean, I have one. We can just start the other end. Being a co-chair is pretty much a leadership responsibility. You're in charge of the board. Just what experience do you have leading people, like specifically student government or any type of things that will give you that experience to help you do this?
As far as leadership positions, currently right now I'm the vice president of Lambda Sigma at Slippery Rock, which is the service organization for the National Honor Society here. And like I said, I was the vice president. I'm right now, term ends at the end of the semester, so I have a pretty good idea of what it knows to kind of be on a board. I know I've set up a lot of different events that we had to do, going to like Habitat for Humanity, stuff like that, so I kind of know what it takes to lead. Same with in high school, I was one of 5 seniors that were a varsity captain on my baseball team, and just took leadership position in bringing the team closer together and making sure that we accomplished our goals.
Well, I'm not on any boards or anything like that for leadership at school here, but back in high school I was captain for 3 varsity sports for 2 years straight. So I like to keep everyone really close and make sure that everyone's being heard. But I did run for a position of student government in my high school and did receive that. I was the treasurer. But other than that, I'm a good leader. Most group projects I have a tendency to step up to the plate and lead, or just have like the 2 leaders.
Currently, right now on campus, I am a student leader for the Rock Catholic organization. I also, last year, was a member of the first year Leader Scholar program here on campus through the CSIL office. I also was in part of a leadership commission back home. It was a selective group that I applied for, which really brought in a different variety of people, so I have experience from that. And the past 2 summers, I've worked for a one-day family event that has brought in 35,000 people, and there was an 11-person team, and I was on that team, and I was in charge of a couple hundred people, making sure they were set, everything was set for the day.
As far as leadership here at Slippery Rock, I don't have anything at the moment, but all throughout high school, all 4 years I was part of our student government, especially up in senior year when I held like vice president, and then also throughout athletics, I was captain of my cross country and track team, and I kind of had like the group of runners below me to kind of look after and make sure they were doing workouts.
At college, I've done a couple different leadership things. Freshman year, I was part of FLSB. It was the first year Leader Scholar program. And I've continued that. I've been continuing working on the campus leadership program. Last fall, we had our October Open. I was one of the co-chairs, helped really organize the event, so that took a lot of organization, a lot of time, a lot of dedication. And I feel like we had a pretty successful event. I've been on the board, like I said, since the spring of my freshman year. Now I'm going to be a senior. So I've had quite a bit of leadership experience so far.
Currently, Kyle, Mike, and I are directors for the 35th anniversary banquet in our facilities class, and we kind of oversee the class, making sure everyone's doing their work and we're all in charge of certain groups. Specifically, I'm in charge of marketing and gifts and invitations. And I have been on the board as the historian for this past year. And in the fall, I'll be a peer mentor working with Dr. Crow and Chris Knoll for first seminar for sport management.
Okay, are there any other questions?
I have a question. As you can notice, if you've been to like the SMP nights or game nights, it's typically the board members showing up and just the selective few. Even with the idea of the community outreach project, you know, before the idea of bonus points, we only had 30 kids sign up, and post that we now have plus 80. Besides bonus points and anything like that, what ideas do you have that will encourage all of your peers to come to events and get more involved?
We'll start with Amanda.
I think that currently I don't have any ideas, but if I was elected as co-chair, I think that is something as a major we can like come to agreement on, even at these kind of meetings. Just ask for people's different views, opinions, ideas, and then we can take it back to the board and come to an agreement there to make a final decision. But I think as a major we should all come together, just trying to find out what will motivate you to come since people aren't showing up.
I really think it starts with everyone in this room. I mean, if you showed up today, obviously you are invested in the major, and I think we just need to have like an open discussion about things. Whether that be through email or through more meetings or something like that, I don't know. I want everyone's ideas. That's one thing I would bring, is I want everyone's ideas of what kind of fun things we can do to bring everyone together. Like I stated, like in our freshman year, at least my freshman year, we were definitely close-knit. There was no separation between the classes. So the first thing I did was go to the SEBT conference. That was like the big thing, and I got to know like all the upperclassmen. And I feel like we haven't had that same connection now that it's flipped. And now I'm the older guy, and I haven't got to talk to many of you. So I think it's really important that we get everyone back together, because like I said, we aren't that big of a major. We should be able to know at least most of everyone. And I really want to know what everyone's ideas are, because these things are really important, and it really creates cohesiveness with the group when you attend these events. So I can't stress the importance of attending these events enough.
I think with the events, a big part of that is just getting to know the people who have already been in the major for 2-3 years. And being a freshman last year, I found out that my peer was CJ, and I didn't even know until spring semester last year. So I think there needs to be a better connection between like the juniors and seniors of the freshmen and sophomores, because they're another generation that's just coming up. And you know, if we stress to them how important the SMP night is, not only like through emails and whatnot, but also like in person, talking to them, actually getting to know them. Not like they're just some other person, but like we actually care that, you know, they stay in the major and we can build friends.
One of my ideas right now would be to definitely make a connection with people. You know, before, when everybody's standing outside, you know I'm kind of just by the same people that I know, because I really don't know people. So I think if maybe the board or other people just reach out to those others, you know, make new friendships, become more on a personal basis rather than just hi, you know, so you really get to know them, and it's easier you want to come to the game nights because you want to be with everybody because you know everybody.
I mean, I don't really have that many ideas right off the top of my head, but I know that the nights that I've gone to, it's kind of just watching a game and eating some pizza, all the things that you could do by yourself or with your friends that you have in your room or in your apartment or whatever. So I think it needs to be something a little bit more exciting or more like involved than just watching a hockey game or a football game or whatever happens to be on. Like the games are great, but maybe having it more involved, making like a trivia game or something with like sport facts or something.
Yeah, going off pretty much what everyone else said. Everyone else kind of has its downfalls, but like Adam said, I mean, I knew kind of CJ that he was my mentor going in. I mean, I think we only met like twice. And I think it's just coming in as a freshman, it's kind of intimidating coming into a major and looking and seeing all these upperclassmen and people that you don't even know, and they don't really talk to you, you don't really talk to them, and you're just like, okay, I'm just going to find my close group of friends and stay with them. I think that's kind of like one of the problems that goes in with these activities that we do and these game nights, and people just, they're like, oh, are you going? And they're like, no, and then they don't go because they don't feel comfortable because they don't know anybody. I feel like if we just reach out, get to know like everybody else within, well, not everybody else, but most of everybody in the major, and kind of get a feeling of who's who and what they like and what you like, and build relationships that way, I think more people will show up. As far as ideas, I mean, I would need a little more time to think about specific ideas to motivate people to get here, but other than that,
Okay, are there any other questions? Okay, well then, thank you very much. Now we're going to open up the nominations for event coordinator. So, anybody have any nominations? Raise your hand. Renee,
Shannon Younger?
do you accept?
Yes.
Okay, come on down. Anybody else? Going once? No.
John Carver?
You can nominate yourself if you want, if nobody else is there to nominate you. Is there any other nominations? Weird. Going once, going twice. All right, I motion to close. Kyle, okay. All right, so again, just kind of give us kind of a rundown of what you do with the event coordinator. The event coordinator is largely responsible for our SMP nights and also our fall and spring events. So like in the fall, we usually have our barbecue. So just kind of discuss what ideas you may have, how you're going to improve these events, and anything like that.
Okay, like I said before, the past 2 summers I've been involved with putting on events that brought like 32 to 35,000 people together, just a one-day event. So I know what it takes to put on an event, or even all the little things leading up to it. I have had no summer for the past 2 summers because I worked and I was dedicated, and I, had to work all the time to make sure that everything went smoothly. So I know what it takes to put on smaller events and bigger ones, like the one I worked for. So I think that one idea that I do have is maybe, bringing everybody together, taking them somewhere else outside of Slippery Rock, going to a Pens game or a Pirates game or a Power game, anything like that, different atmosphere, somewhere that's not just on campus. I think the game nights are great, so it doesn't take too long. If you have other commitments, you still can come rather than having to be gone like the whole night. I think definitely, like we just said before, reaching out more will help bring in more people to the events, and kind of reaching out and getting feedback from everybody on as to what they want to do and what they'd be interested in.
well, I can never say I put on that big of an event, but as the vice president of Lambda Sigma, I kind of know what it takes to schedule some other events. I mean, I've been in contact, like I said, with like Habitat for Humanity, getting a group there and making sure the buses get there, stuff like that, so we can actually show up. As far as, I think the SMP game nights, they're great. I mean, I've gone to them, I've gone with my friends, I've met people there that I know that I've gone and talked to. The barbecue was great. I mean, I enjoyed it. I think if we do stuff like that again and like reinforce the idea that it's a great way to network with people and starting to like get to know pretty much other people that you don't know, I think that would just benefit you better. If I had any ideas, like once again, I think I'd have to have the time, but I steal my thunder with taking people off campus and going to sporting events. I think that would be a good idea necessarily, or like having maybe like an SMP kickball contest or like kickball game or flag football, something just fun and more than just sitting around talking to people and getting people more involved. So.
Okay. Does anybody have any questions? Scott?
I know you both talked about taking people off campus, but with taking people off campus, that insinuates spending money. How do you think you can keep the costs down and still take people off campus to have a good time?
I was thinking, if we do get a large enough group, I know there's group rates at certain games, or just making a connection with people, seeing if they can, help get us a discount. I know that the money is an issue for some people, so trying to definitely keep the cost lower so people are able to attend.
Yeah, pretty much the same with that. I mean, I would definitely try to go along with trying to get the cheapest possible plan for our group to go. Maybe if it costs a little bit from you and then some from within the major that we have, so to make sure that we could go to these things, it would be possible to get some of these done. I'm not saying we'd get the best seats, but just to go as a group overall would be a nice experience, maybe just once.
Any other questions?
Besides the Rocktober Open and the banquet, I'm curious what other events could you hold that could help us fundraise money for the SMA board, just SMA in general?
For like specific fundraisers, I mean, I know it's kind of hard to get money to get like with all these people together, but I'm thinking probably like donations from places, maybe from teams that like have autograph stuff like raffles. I know that's what we're doing for Lambda Sigma, which by the way, if you want raffle tickets, we'll be selling them in the next couple weeks. It's $1 for like one, it's $10 for 10 tickets for 3, and those are for Penn's autographed pucks that we have. So I mean that could possibly be something with people that we know, people that the faculty knows that could possibly get us some maybe autographed memorabilia or like game tickets, stuff like that to potentially raise money.
In order to make an event that would be successful, I know I'd have to think about it a little more, but off the top of my head, if one idea that I have is maybe like a tournament of some type, you know, and include the whole campus, you know, intramural tournament or, you know, just basketball, volleyball, softball, anything that we can do on campus that's outside the actual intramural season, you know, maybe just a one-day event that we can involve the whole campus and say like there's a $5 or $10 or $15 buy-in for the teams.
I just have another idea real quick too. I just thought of that when she was talking about maybe like a poker tournament too. Because I know a lot of people like poker.
Okay, are there any other questions? All right. Now we're accepting nominations for treasurer.
I nominate Shannon Yager.
Accept?
Yes.
Are there any other nominations? Anybody else going once? Nominate Mills. Do you accept? Who did you nominate? I didn't know. Okay. Anybody else? All right, I motion to close. All right, so treasurer, you're pretty much in charge of our funds. Almost our accountant. So, if you have any experience doing anything like that, or if you want to discuss anything else, feel free.
Well, I am a very organized person, so I make sure that everything I do, schoolwork, anything outside of schoolwork, any other organizations, everything is organized. So I keep track of everything. Not to keep talking about my summer job, but I did have experience. I was involved with selling raffle tickets. So I was in charge of collecting all the money for that, which is $100 a ticket. So I had a lot of money and a lot of trust on my shoulders to make sure that everything was right, putting it into the system, working with the credit card company, working with the bank. So I have experience from that.
My name is Milton Maranta. I am a freshman in the sport management program. Throughout high school, I've taken many business courses with accounting and everything, and in charge of keeping money and accounting stuff for like our student government association. I do during basketball. I was a 4-year member of high school basketball. We fundraised each year to raise money for a program to get apparel, sweatpants, hoodies, anything like that, and I keep track of how much each person raised, and we promote discounts for if each person raised a certain amount, we give them 10% off clothing wise, and I was just in charge of keeping everything like that, and that's about it.
Okay, are there any questions? Pat?
how much experience do you have with Excel, formulas with Excel, and just your experience with Excel? Because I know a lot of my work as treasurer, I work with Excel.
This past summer I took financial accounting, so I really got to learn a lot more about Excel than I did in the past. But I also have a lot of experience from when I worked as a secretary. I did a lot of Excel work, putting things into databases and just keeping track of different things that basically they told me to in Excel format.
Go off that. Throughout high school, my business courses, I took accounting for the first 2 years of accounting. We worked Excel all year. We did spreadsheets and like kept track of all the formulas and everything and like, the money. We did like simulations of running our own business, and we were in charge of keeping like all the totals that the business would present us.
Okay, are there any other questions? All right, thank you. Now we're going to do fundraising chair, so if there are any nominations for that. Yes?
I'd like to nominate myself.
Come on down.
I like to nominate you.
You accept? Okay. Are there any other nominations? Once, all right, motion to close. There you go. Okay, so fundraising chair, you work a lot with Landmark in the fall, working with Steelers and Pitt Panther football games, and you do a lot of apparel sales throughout the year. So if you want to discuss ideas for that, and then if you have any other ideas for different fundraising ideas as well, feel free to discuss those as well.
Alright, well, I'm a sophomore here at Slippery Rock, sport management major, and my name is Matan Cohen, currently vice president with Alpha Sigma Phi. My main responsibility is to fundraise, so I'm always fundraising, trying to get different events. Some of the things we've done is Landmark before, so I'm good friends with Paul Mayer. He runs it with Morris, knows Paul probably. I've spoke to him many times, so we have a good connection. I've also worked with Cedar Point a few times for fundraising opportunities, and you can make about like $2,000 per like 20 people that go. So as a team, like if our entire major goes, probably make at least like $5,000 if we got a good amount of commitments. Also, I was thinking like flag football tournaments, basketball tournaments, volleyball tournaments. Like those kind of things are things we can work with the ARC. I mean, we have a bunch of people, we all love sports. We all have friends that love sports, so I feel like we could get a good amount of people together for big tournaments that would be successful. Like we could even make those into like philanthropy events, like with Livestrong. And they would like donate with us and we can donate back to them. Like we would sell like wristbands for them. Also, I was thinking like a chicken wing competition. I'm a big fan of chicken wings. Partner with like Ginger Ale or Luigi's. And I think that would be a successful event also on campus. Other ideas, I mean, I've done wristbands for my fraternity and we made about $600 this semester selling, it was like 200 bands. Or we sold 600 bands and we made $1,200. It cost us only $200. So, I mean, that was a good profit right there. I've also just had like experience this past summer. I worked with a few sport organizations like the University of Buffalo and the Buffalo Bills. It was more with like event services. But I realized like you gotta work as a team to get things done. And as a fundraising chairman, I would speak with like the event coordinator to schedule events, and we'd work together, and the treasurer, of course, because that's all the money. And then we'd speak with the co-chair, because they're just like the executives in our group. And then we'd come back to you guys and ask for any like ideas or suggestions you have.
Well, personally, I have not worked with Landmark, but I'm great with people, so I wouldn't mind talking to him and getting everything organized. But for fundraising with like the apparel, for my 3 years as captain, or for the 3 seasons as captains, 2 years in a row, I was in charge of getting the apparel for every team, designing it, making sure the money got in on time, getting the money from everyone, and just making sure we got the best deal and the best quality. Expanding on the apparel, we've had the same logo placement and everything for 2 years now, so maybe just spicing it up a little bit, changing things around, keeping the same logo and colors, but just, you know, a little different. I also worked for several years over the summer with a local soccer tournament in my town, going to different places, restaurants, getting sponsorships, just getting some people wanting to get involved and share their money with you. So I wouldn't mind going to a couple places around Slippery Rock, seeing if they wanted to be a part of the sport management program and getting their name out there. And we're tightly knit, or we're trying to be more tightly knit, but if they wanted to be involved in our growth. I would also work directly with the event coordinator to make sure our events are going smoothly and make sure that everyone's involved. If we do go out and try to fundraise like off campus, but again, with the transportation and stuff might be a little bit difficult, but that would be something we would have to work with our treasurer.
Are there any questions? Boris?
I know that coming into the fundraising chair, I was told that our sport management participation, especially with Landmark, was kind of slow. I didn't realize how bad it was until I actually was in the position. I know a lot of people at the beginning of the year say they were very interested in working with Landmark, and then come time to actually sign up and go down to the games and concerts, no one speaks up. Do you have any ideas to get more people involved with Landmark or a portion of the fundraising?
Incentive-wise, I would say that, like, right now I'm in facility event management, and I work, like, a lot with donations with Amanda. Like, our entire class actually works to get donations. And I mean, I was speaking to, like, about probably 20 people about receiving donations, and I've gotten, like, four or five things, like, autograph, not four, but 3 things that they said they were going to send in autograph-wise. And I mean, like, if we told them that they were going to support, like, SMA, I mean, maybe those things could be incentives to come. Like, if you come, like, a certain amount of times to Landmark, like, you would get this kind of incentive, like a gift. But I mean, if those kind of things couldn't happen, I know extra credit would probably be out of the picture. But really, like, you gotta think of it as, like, for yourself, like, it helps fundraise for SMA. Like, we're an entire department. We want to help each other. And if we're going to be successful, we got to all put a little bit of work into it. And I've done a few landmarks myself, and I mean, it's rough. It's about like 9 hours of standing, and you're constantly doing work, but it's like a good experience, and you learn how to just talk to people, and it's just practicing being personable with people. And that's all.
I mean, just for trying to get the motivation up to wanting to go, you can just stress that you're actually at the game, so you're experiencing what the fans are experiencing. Like, I mean, I know you're at the gates and stuff, but like, I mean, you still get the excitement of all the fans getting really excited and just wanting to be involved with the sport itself. And I mean, concerts, you will hear the music. I mean, who doesn't like music? But just stress wanting to go, you can just goes back to the SMA, and like it goes to buying your apparel. Maybe we could talk about, like, I mean, I'd have to go over it with the co-chairs and the faculty, but if starting like an account towards the spring break trips, because I know that we haven't been able to go for the past 2 years. So if you can work Landmark and you can keep that money and put it towards your spring break, that would be more of an incentive to keep that going and getting us involved together with that.
Okay. Are there any other questions? Chris?
You said that you were heavily involved with your fraternity.
Yep.
Now, we've had trouble in the past with people that have way too much going on, and this is a significant time commitment. So I want both of you to speak to how much you're going to actually be able to show up, because we have, not only do we have these meetings, but we have quite a few board meetings, and then just stuff outside, different events. So time commitment is pretty big.
Personally, I've never had problems with time management. It's probably one of my best skills overall. Like, every day I have a real busy day. I mean, you can ask my roommates. They barely ever see me unless it's nighttime. I always get to bed at a good time, so I wake up and I'm ready for class. I'm not falling asleep or slouching. And that really, grades are very important to me. I mean, I'm always like grades, like extracurricular activities. I'm involved in like a few different organizations on campus, but I still am able to manage all my priorities, and it's not difficult for me. And I'm just really good, like, organizational wise. Like, I'm really good about writing things in my planner, having my calendar set on the dates, and I promise I wouldn't let any of you guys down as a department.
Well, I'm not involved with any other organization, so I would be 100% dedicated to this position. I do have a job here on campus. It's with the Sport Information Department, so I'm only busy during the games, but by no means I would never miss a meeting for this over that. That's not my main priority if I were to receive this position. I also, procrastination kind of gives me an anxiety attack, so I do not procrastinate. I am someone that gets everything done ahead of time so I don't have to have that problem. So I would plan out everything in preparation for these meetings and for the events that we have.
I just want to say one thing. When Renee said like procrastination wise, anytime I get like a group project or an individual project, like we always get in sport management classes, I'm always like right on top of it. I'm usually the one that's proactive and starts getting the ball rolling for our group. I think that's something you really need, like someone who's proactive at this position.
Are there any other questions? Okay, thank you. Now we're going to open up nominations for professional development. Kyle? Amanda, do you accept?
Yeah.
All right. Adam?
I nominate John Carter.
John, do you accept? Okay. Any other nominations? Jared?
Agree.
Adam, do you accept? No. Okay. No problem. Any other nominations? Once. Okay. Motion to close. Kyle. Okay, so the professional development, you're responsible for finding our speakers for the meeting. That's like your #1 responsibility. I mean, you also assist the board on practices, but it's almost who your network is. So if you can kind of elaborate on sort of who you know, who you build contacts with, and how they can be able to help you get quality speakers to our meetings.
Okay. Again, I'm Amanda McIntyre. I'm currently a junior and I'll be a senior next year. Just from going to past conferences, I've been to Robert Morris twice, the conference, and made quite a few contacts there, as well as the Mount Union the Mount Union conference. I made contacts there as well. So I know a lot of people. They live kind of far away, but I know they know people who work in the Pittsburgh area that could potentially come and speak in front of us. An idea that I have is to better suit you guys of what you actually want to hear when speakers come, or a specific position you want to hear, whether it be in sales or athletic directing. So I think it's important that maybe do some type of survey to get your guys' opinion of who you want to come speak.
Like I said, I'm John Carter. As far as networking, I've been to a couple conferences as well, Mount Union and Robert Morris. In that time, I've built some connections, and my networking kind of started off slow, but kind of has picked up as I've gone along. Through different class projects and stuff, I've come to know a couple people, including some sport agents, guys pretty high up. I actually went to high school with a kid that's now the punter for the Indianapolis Colts, and he knows some people, and we generally talk sometimes. So I know a couple people through there. Through my high school, I actually know people from my television department, my main teacher. He knows a lot of people within the Pittsburgh Penguins, the Pirates. He's actually pretty good friends with Neil Huntington, which is not the name drop, but kind of a big deal. But like Amanda said, I would try to find out what you guys would want in a speaker and try to bring in different titles and positions to fulfill everyone's needs and not just the same speaker over and over again.
Are there any questions? Jared?
How confident are you in your network if the speaker that you have lined up cancels a week before? Are you confident enough that you can find a replacement within that week before the meeting?
I know this happens to you, Jay. I know the stress you've gone through. I feel pretty confident in my network. I know, like I said, people that know people, and I know a couple people that would be pretty much willing to come. I've talked to actually Chaz Kellum. I've actually known him for a pretty good amount of time, and he's actually really wanted to come and speak up here. So I know like, if we didn't have him as a first option, he could be a definite fallback option. So.
Well, I think if somebody canceled last minute, I mean, I know anxiety, I've been there, but I know that I would be able to find somebody. I would make sure I found somebody, and I would work until I found somebody. You don't want to not have a speaker. That would look really bad. So.
Are there any questions, Scott?
If you go through like your strategy of contacting somebody, what would you do? What is the steps you would take to get them to be a speaker?
Well, first I think I would try emailing them first to see if they'd be interested, and if they don't respond, maybe follow up with a phone call. If they do respond, set up a phone call just to find out some more information about them, and then they can ask us questions. So I kind of go about it that way.
It pretty much go along the same line with her. Probably email first would just get your name out there and pretty much what you wanted. Maybe set up a phone call to see if they're available, or like multiple calls, just depending on their schedule, because obviously they're busy too and they have time commitments. So just go along those lines and try to find somebody that way.
All right, is that it? Okay, thank you. Now we're going to do the social networking chair. Do you have any nominations? Jared?
Mercy, okay?
Marissa, do you accept?
Yes.
Okay.
Ready to be?
Do you accept? Any other nominations? All right, motion to close. Jared. Okay, so our social networking, you're just in charge of our Facebook or Twitter, taking pictures at events. You work a lot with our web manager, just working, getting this stuff up online. Just what kind of unique ideas do you have to incorporate social media into our major a little better?
Well, just for personal experience on the position, I mean, I have my own Facebook and my own Twitter, so I'm up to speed with that. I also take pictures with sport information of the games, so I know how to work a camera pretty well, and action shots and all that stuff. But for different ideas, making sure everyone in the major actually follows the Twitter or follows the Facebook page, forcing that on them, like really making sure that they follow it, because that's how we get our message out. So if we would just like kind of have surveys or something, or like email sent out and like click the link and go like it, or like an incentive about it. And I don't know about what the incentive would be, but like, you know, if you click this, you get like a coupon or something. Coupon to the SMA apparel or something, I don't know. But just getting the social media more involved and just making sure that everyone follows.
Well, I'm Marissa Manko. I'm a junior, and currently I work with Chris this semester and last semester with the web management and with the social media kind of. I was taking pictures last week during the meeting. I have my own camera, which comes in handy because it's a really nice one. And in my in my spare time, I take pictures at sporting events like our high school basketball girls. Just like Renee said, getting everyone involved, being able to cross-reference the list of students in the major with the people who like our Facebook, and tracking down the people who are not liking our Facebook, because that is the way that we get out our messages and even the messages about the banquet and upcoming events, and that'll help everyone else's position, like our fundraising, getting more people involved and getting more people at the SMP nights.
Okay, is there a quick question? Kate?
Do you have any ideas besides the main social networking sites like Facebook and Twitter, other ways you can contact people? I know, like, since we are moving from Western to ECB, like bulletin boards, the array of bulletin boards, you might not have as many to get your message out. So do you have any ideas besides like Twitter and Facebook?
Yeah, there are bulletin boards all over ECB as well as the ARC in every building. I've actually helped the ARC put out some of their flyers and make some of their flyers for intramural sports and for signups. So getting flyers out and working with the offices of each building, because you have to get it cleared with each office first before you can hang any flyers in the building. So that way, and making sure that everyone that has a LinkedIn likes our sport management LinkedIn and joins that group as well, because that'll help with the networking, not only in our own major, but outside of our major with professionals, and that'll help get our speakers in here as well if they know that there's more sport management people from Slippery Rock that follow them on LinkedIn.
As far as the bulletin boards go, I'm not sure how many we'll have when we move to ECB, but just making sure that they're really eye-popping and really are attracted to them, make sure they're like, you're walking the hallway, you want to look at that bulletin board. I've done some work in high school working on the bulletin boards through my high school with the athletic department, so I'm familiar with that. But again, with the LinkedIn, that would be a great idea. Force that, like making sure everyone actually has a LinkedIn, because that's such a great resource, and then making sure they like our little page and making sure they join the group would be another way to get it out there. But for messages, I mean, the email works, but how many emails a day do we get? So we kind of tend to oversee those or overlook those. But just the bulletin boards and like making like announcements on flyers or something would be a good idea as well.
Okay, thank you. web manager? Amanda? You accept?
Yes.
Renee?
Adam Obringer?
Adam, do you accept? Yes. Are there any other nominations? Nice, okay, motion to close. Jared. Okay, so Chris can talk a lot more about the specifics of our website, but we definitely improved it a lot this year. Just talk about what kind of experiences you have with website management and what kind of ideas you have to continue to improve our website.
Okay. Well, like I said previously, I've been working with Chris this semester and the past semester, and Chris has already been teaching me the different aspects of the website and all the small little tedious details that go into the website, such as the color scheme and making sure everything's proofread and double check between 3 different people in the major before anything goes up on the website. So I obviously have a little bit more experience with our own sport management website already. I'm currently still helping him with a couple video projects for our website and for our YouTube account. So new ideas for the website. You can't really change too much because there's a very specific format that needs to be followed. My main goal would just be to keep up on suggestions that the faculty have and that students have, take the suggestions that the students have and take them to the faculty and see what new ideas we can come up with and the little things that we can tweak and just make sure that everything looks perfect so anyone that checks out our website knows that we have quality work here.
I haven't had a chance to work with Chris at all, but while I've been here at Slippery Rock, I've been taking programming classes, and also in high school, I've been working with programming just as well. And also, the digital scene is something that I'm very interested in the sport industry. I'm talking with Steve Kesson, who is a leader for Fathom Marketing right now, digital marketing firm. So I think being the web manager would be something great to kind of get my feet wet, understand what it takes to kind of run something online. As far as new ideas, I know a lot can't be changed, but with the work that Chris has done, everyone can see that it's changed a good majority from what it used to be, and I'm perfectly fine with building on what he did and making the website enjoyable for us to visit as much as it would be for the Facebook or Twitter page just as well.
Chris?
Like I said before, this goes with every position, but especially with the web manager, it takes a lot of time and a lot of meetings with Dr. Higgs and the other faculty. I know they can attest to how many times I've met with them for different things. Because this is basically our face of what people from the outside see. So I just want to make sure that you don't really have too many other commitments that will interfere, because it takes a lot of working weekends. I know I spend a lot of time in the library on Saturdays and Sundays. It isn't fun, but you know, you got to get stuff done. So just tell me a little bit about how much time you have for this position.
As far as time, I'm pretty much completely free. The only thing I really have is I have a job back at home, but that has nothing to do with me staying here on weekends or talking to the faculty. Like I said, for co-chair, I'm not part of any organizations, nothing around campus, and I'd be completely free on this.
I do actually coach up here as well, but I'm a very organized person, so keeping my time management in check is definitely something that I have to do to be able to get all of my schoolwork done and be able to coach at the same time. I have no problem meeting with the faculty. I know Dr. Higgs and Dr. Coe tend to see me pop in their office a little often, but I'm up here on weekends because I have to be for basketball anyway, so spending time in the library is not something foreign to me.
Thank you very much. The last position is historian, so if we have any nominations for that. I'd like to nominate Steph Brady. Do you accept?
Yeah.
Are there any other nominations? All right, motion to close. Oh, you have a nomination.
Emily Lakewood.
Emily, do you accept? No. Okay. Good try. All right, so motion to close. No. Okay. Well, Steph, just kind of give us a rundown of what kind of experience you have in any kind of organizations and
like, I'm very involved with different things. Like in high school, I was super involved with everything. And then like up here, I lead a Bible study, so I'm involved with Campus Crusade for Christ. And then like I help at the church and work with the local church up here to get people together, like with the youth and college kids. So I'm very involved with that up here. So.
Okay. Does anybody have any questions? All right, thank you. Okay, so the election procedures will follow. Dr. Crow will make a survey up, and it should come out via email sometime within over spring break. The minutes will be attached, so if anybody wants to review what people said, they can look at that as well. Just vote. The voting closes 2 weeks after the survey has been released, and then we'll notify the winners. You can vote for yourself. Don't worry about anything like that. And then just a quick recap of the important information. Fall registration meeting is coming up on the March 22nd. All sophomores and freshmen must attend. It's common hour here at BCB, BSB. The Sport Management Volunteer Day is April 14th at 8 o'clock in the morning. Make sure you sign up